11, 5, 7.
This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer to Reaction. What I'm looking at today is the official trailer for 28 Years Later, which is Danny Boyle returning to the zombie franchise he created. And by my air quotes, I did because 28 Days Later is a movie I enjoy, partially because it's not a zombie movie. Boyle apparently reflects the template created by George Romero. So his creatures were infected with a rage virus. So this became animalistic and brutalistic and just really pissed off and open to committing acts of extreme violence. But they weren't zombies per se. Now that's probably going to change with the later chapters in the story, because apparently Britain is still isolated, and therefore the virus has had time to mutate and to change. So that's really interesting as well. But Alex Garland wrote the original, and I believe he's back to write 28 Years Later. And that's important because he's a great writer, but also because it maintains the narrative continuity established in the earlier movie. And I can't say enough about respecting the underpinnings of the zombie genre. George Romero, in creating zombies that don't run, they're very awkward and slow, they shamble about, and they're relatively mindless. Though there are exceptions that, once again, like Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are doing, the Romero zombies begin to evolve as well. But there's that respect of what came before, and that's important. They apparently aren't sweeping aside the past like Zack Snyder does. And that irritates me because, as far as I can tell, that's laziness. And it's good to see filmmakers work within established boundaries and parameters as opposed to ignoring them. In any case, let's look at the official trailer for 28 Years Later. It's a nice shot.
So many dead. Infected and non-infected alike.
That's why our home is so precious.
You know, our feelings a bit young.
He's ready, Jenny.
7, 6, 11, 5.
Once you walk onto that mainland,
Ominous
there's no
counting.
rescues.
Moving up and down again. Don't. Look at what's in front of you. Count the bullets and the bandoliers.
There are many kinds of death. Some are better than others. This is a glorious day.
There's no discharge in the war.
Well, that was the official trailer for 28 Years Later, and this looks really good because the story seems to be moving beyond just the zombies. Based on that trailer, it seems to me to be a tale about religion, about madness, about people pushed to the brink and coping in really weird ways in some cases. This looks good, and I should also mention that the sequel of this is 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I don't like the title, but there was hints of what that Bone trailer is in this trailer. And that's directed by Nia DaCosta, who was the director of Jordan Peele's Candyman as well as The Marbles. That should be really interesting as well, because Nia DaCosta is a really good director. I enjoyed her revisiting the Candyman franchise. I think that's a really good movie if you haven't seen it, and it's interesting and layered. Needed a little more gore and violence though, but still pretty good. And her take on this should be interesting as well. And by the way, Nia DaCosta was apparently on the set with Danny Boyle. Now, as I mentioned, she is directing the sequel to this movie, but does she do any first director, second director work on this movie? If she were there, she's an established director, it would be interesting to see, because I couldn't imagine Danny Boyle not using her expertise since it was available to him. Now, what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trailer into Reaction. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like, follow, and buy me a coffee. Peace.